This video is to walk you through how to set up the Calvin rig with XGen. So you should have two folders in your downloaded folder. You should have the XGen folder and the Calvin folder. So what you want to do is find your project. My project is right here. If you don't have a project set already, you can create a new one by going to the project window or set your project. So in your project, you want to copy your XGen folder directly into the project folder, and you can't copy it into any of these subfolders. It has to be in this top level folder. Otherwise, XGen won't know where it is. And then you take your Calvin folder and you can copy that wherever you want. I'm going to put it in the scenes folder. So once you go into this, you'll see there's two files. There's the animation file and the render file. The animation file is a lot lighter, and that's the base rig where you're supposed to do all of your animation. The textures are much lower quality, and there's a temporary hair geometry for reference for when you're animating. And then once it's time to render, you want to use the Calvin render. And all this does is it references and imports the animation file and applies higher quality textures, and of course it applies XGen. So first, let's open up the animation file. So here we have Calvin, and the first thing we need to do is assign our texture file paths by going to Windows, General Editors, File Path Editor, and selecting all of these, going to the repath options, and finding where your textures file is. Mine is in my project. In the scenes, in the Calvin's folder. You just want to select this textures top level folder. You don't need to go into any of these as long as you have search subdirectories for files, as long as this is checked. It should find all of those and apply them. And so now you can do your animation. Let's just do a basic head turn from center to left. Let's set that. If you want to do any IK or FK switching, that can be done up here in these menus. So once you have your animation finished, you just want to save that file, and let's open up our render file. So as you can see, the animation that we just did in the previous file has been referenced and applied. And if you don't see the textures applied, once again, just go to Windows, General Editors, File Path Editor, and repath those textures. It might not find them, because currently it's set to my file path. You'll want to change it to your file path, because now it's looking for those 8K textures rather than the 1K textures. So the last thing you need to do is assign the XGen material. You can go to your XGen shelf and open up the XGen window here, or you can go to Windows, Modeling Editors, XGen Editor, and you want to import your collection. Before you do this, make sure you have nothing selected. If you have something selected that has a namespace, it's going to automatically apply that namespace. So just make sure you have nothing selected. And to double check that you don't have any namespaces currently applied, you want to go to your namespace editor under General Editors, and just make sure it's on root, not any other namespace. Otherwise, XGen is really picky about namespaces. Making sure that you have no namespace selected, we're going to go Import Collection. We're going to go to the Collections tab and browse for that file. And that's the file that we copied in under the XGen folder. So go to your project folder, go to XGen, Collections, and select the XGen file here. Import it, make sure you leave the namespace blank, and you want to say overwrite. You may get a warning saying the operation failed, but if this window pops up, you're actually good to go. And then you can just preview your XGen collection right on this eyeball button there. And if you don't get everything to show up, try this little drop down here and make sure you have preview all descriptions in collection. Make sure that's checked. The last thing you need to do is apply the hair material to the hair, which is in your hypershade. Here it is, XGen hair. It's an Arnold shader. And what you want to do is select the XGen collection in your outliner here and just apply that material. Great, so we have everything applied and we're ready to do a test render. Great, and that's looking pretty good. So there you have it. Good luck, and please comment with any questions you might have.